Nathan Donald Diaz, also known as Nate Diaz, is a professional mixed martial artist with a long history in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC. He is known for his unique and aggressive fighting style, incorporating traditional martial arts and acrobatics elements. With a strong track record in the UFC, Diaz has won a total of 16 bonus awards, making him one of the most successful fighters in the organization. Early life and career. Diaz was raised in Stockton, California, and began training in martial arts at a young age with his brother. Before joining the UFC, he had already gained experience competing in other organizations such as World Extreme Cage Fighting.
This is scheduled for 3 rounds. Big roundhouse by Diaz doesn't land.
Yeah, but he's really going to be in trouble because Diaz has got his number here with that right hook.
Strikeforce.
We don't see that many guys at 167. They're 6 feet tall.
No, we don't. And Warren looks like he wants to stand, come from a submission fighting.
And pancrase. In these organizations, Diaz developed his skills and established a reputation as a formidable opponent. Nate Diaz made his MMA debut on October 21st, 2004 at the ripe age of 19. His first opponent was the experienced Alejandro Garcia. The fight began with Garcia taking Nate down.
Traditionally with Nathan Diaz, he fights a lot like his brother.
And putting him on his back, but Nate didn't let that faze him. He kept busy with submission attempts, and in the third round, he locked in a triangle choke that left Garcia with no choice but to tap out.
Diaz to reposition himself. He got it, and there's your winner, Nathan Diaz, his first.
Nathan Diaz.
A lot of pressure on young.
UFC career. As Nate Diaz, a young and promising MMA fighter with a record of 5-2, entered the 5th season of The Ultimate Fighter, expectations were high. With his impressive wins in Ultimate Fighter, Nate advanced to the Ultimate Fighter finale, where he faced off against Manville Gambierian. Despite Gambierian putting on a strong performance in the first round, early in the second round he shot for a takedown and unfortunately dislocated his shoulder. This led to the referee forcing them to stop the fight. This earned Nate the title of the Ultimate Fighter 5 lightweight tournament winner.
And now, the ultimate finale, lightweight winner, Nate Diaz!
The MMA community was buzzing with excitement as Nate Diaz stepped into the octagon for his first fight in 3 months. His opponent, Junior Asuncio, was a formidable challenger known for his striking prowess, but Nate was determined to make a statement and he didn't disappoint. In the early rounds, Junior looked competitive with his strikes, but Nate, being the master of counter-striking and relentless pressure, soon took over with his superior striking skills. With Junior on the ground, Nate locked in a guillotine choke, forcing him to tap out.
He certainly can finish from this position, and Diaz does. It's difficult to understand what's going on.
Marked Nate's win in his first UFC pay-per-view debut.
This contest at 4 minutes 10 seconds of the very first round.
Not just Nick's little.
His opponent, Dong Young Kim, was a formidable opponent known for his grappling skills and relentless ground game. But Nate was determined to prove himself, and as the bell rang to signal the start of the fight, he stepped forward with confidence. The fight began with both fighters feeling each other out, but it wasn't long before Dong was able to take Nate down to the ground.
Into it though, lost it, and Kim on top. And I don't think he's fought a guy in the octagon with the kind of guard that Nate Dishing now.
Despite his best efforts, Nate couldn't shake off Dong's control and found himself stuck on the bottom, defending against a relentless barrage of ground and pound. By the end of the fight, it was clear that Dong had the upper hand, winning by unanimous decision. Determined to bounce back from these defeats, Nate dropped back down to lightweight to face off against Takanori Gomi. From the start of the fight, it was clear that Nate was in top form, tagging Takanori with precision strikes and putting pressure on him at every opportunity.
Gomi just dropped down.
Yes, he did.
Nate's got his back. Look at this. Wrapped underneath the right hook of Nate Diaz. And he can only defend with his left.
They're back up for now.
The fight eventually went to the ground, and it was there that Nate was able to secure an armbar, forcing Takanori to tap out.
Gomi is in all position. He doesn't have it quite though. He needs to adjust it. He needs to grab it right here. He's gonna go night-night.
By submission. And defeats Takanori Gomi.
No doubt about it, the game.
4 minutes, 27 seconds.
The anticipation was high as Nate Diaz prepared to enter the octagon for his fight against UFC lightweight champion Benson Henderson. The two had been trading trash talk leading up to the fight, and both men were determined to come out on top. The fight began with both men feeling each other out, but it was clear that Henderson had the edge in wrestling.
Benson Henderson is a black belt in Gracie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Clinching.
Under his long...
He was able to take Nate down and control them on the ground for much of the fight.
Slams him instead.
KO him, but he hasn't really had nearly enough success.
Fifth again.
Despite Nate's toughness, he was unable to overcome Henderson's grappling, and by the end of the fight, Henderson was declared the winner by unanimous decision. Nate's next opponent was Josh Thompson, and it was clear that Josh had been studying Nate's fighting style. He was able to avoid most of Nate's offense and connect with some powerful shots of his own. His left hook was a weapon to be feared here. In the second round, Josh connected with a head kick that rocked Nate hard. After he went down, Josh followed up with ground and pound. Forcing the ref to step in and give Nate his first TKO defeat. A year later, Nate returned to the octagon to face Rafael dos Anjos, but unfortunately, he missed weight, and the fight took place at a catch weight of 160.5 pounds. Dos Anjos dominated the fight, especially with his leg kicks.
He's trying to pick it up. Dos Anjos goes high.
Diaz from the bottom.
His strategy seemed to work a lot, and by the end of the fight, he was declared the winner by unanimous decision.
Dos Anjos is slapping him back.
Dos Anjos. The best of his UFC.
And absolutely dominant.
Nate faced featherweight champion Conor McGregor at UFC 196. With only 11 days' notice, Nate accepted the fight at welterweight, and the stage was set for one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. The first round saw Conor come out firing with a high pace, connecting with a lot of shots, but Nate was able to eat them and return with some of his own. As the round progressed, Conor began to tire, unable to keep up with Nate's pace and relentless pressure. In the second round, Nate began to take control. He connected with some shots on the feet that rocked Conor, forcing him to attempt a desperation takedown, but Nate was able to stuff it and get a hold of Conor's back, leading to a rare naked choke that forced Conor to tap. The win was absolutely huge for Nate, as Conor was at the peak of his career and one of the biggest stars in the UFC. The immediate rematch was set for UFC 202, which broke the record for most pay-per-view buys. The second fight was a war, with both men going all out. Conor found early success with his striking, dropping Nate a couple of times. But as the fight progressed, Nate began to gain more momentum, and at times Conor looked to be in serious trouble.
And now Conor McGregor is in trouble. He goes high with the knee. He tags him again.
It was a great mental and physical battle between two peak fighters.
They have a good hard left hand over the top.
In the end, the fight went the distance and the judges awarded Conor with a majority decision, despite some believing Nate deserved the win.
Give us your thoughts. Surprise!
Following his victory, Nate called out George Mosdale for a fight to decide who is the baddest moofer in the sport. With both fighters being huge stars at the time, the UFC decided to make the matchup a headliner for UFC 244. However, it was George who controlled most of the action early on in the fight. He found more success with his striking, while Nate ate a lot of shots but was unable to get much offense going. In the third round, Nate began to gain momentum with his counterpunches and forward pressure, but a huge cut opened on Nate's eyebrow and the doctor stopped the fight going into the fourth round. The fight between Nate Diaz and Tony Ferguson at UFC 279 on September 10, 2022 was a highly anticipated matchup. As it was Nate's last fight on his contract and Tony was a formidable opponent. The fight began with both fighters feeling each other out, but Tony was quick to focus on attacking Nate's leg with kicks.
Nate started very aggressive, but now Tony's got him backing up a little bit. It was a big...
Despite this, Nate was still able to press forward with punches, finding success and connecting with some shots. However, Tony's leg attacks were causing Nate to visibly rest at times, making the fight appear strange.
With such an unorthodox style, good right hand there by Tony.
As the fight progressed, Nate began to take control, and in the fourth round, he was able to lock up a guillotine on Tony, forcing him to tap out. The crowd erupted in cheers as Nate secured the victory in his final fight on his contract and solidified his legacy as one of the best fighters in the UFC.
Wow. Nate Diaz! At least I got a worthy OG representative of mixed martial arts.
In conclusion, Nate Diaz has had a truly impressive career in the UFC. From his victory on The Ultimate Fighter 5 to his upset win over Conor McGregor, Diaz has proven time and time again that he is a formidable opponent and a true force to be reckoned with in the sport of mixed martial arts. His tenacity, skill, and determination have made him a fan favorite and have earned him a place among the all-time greats of the sport. Whether he's facing a tough veteran or a rising newcomer, Diaz always brings his A-game and leaves it all in the cage. So, if you are a fan of mixed martial arts, make sure you don't miss any of Nate Diaz's future fights. You never know what he might do next. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things mixed martial arts. We have a lot of videos coming up. Stay tuned.
Holds onto the leg, taking him for a ride. Brings him down, but he's got to look out for a triangle. He's got to look out for that right leg. If Nate Diaz gets that right leg over, he's got it. He locked it down.
Nate Diaz says he's going to win.
Look at Nate Diaz. Double fingers and a fully locked in.